المانكات هنا.
Good morning. Good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the two delegations, people of Yemen who will be listening and hoping, I'd like to introduce Honourable Secretary General of the United Nations, Mr. Antonio Guterres, His Excellency Antonio Guterres, who will preside over this closing ceremony. And then after he has spoken, the Honourable Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Government of Sweden will also speak. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, I would like to thank the Foreign Minister, Margot Wallström, and the Swedish government for hosting this event and for your warm welcome. I would also like to thank my special envoy, Martin Griffiths, and his team for their tireless efforts in this endeavor. Many governments played a crucial role to make this happen. I'd like to thank the Saudi-led coalition, the Sultanate of Oman, the government of Kuwait for their concrete support to make it happen. And also the international community, and especially the group of ambassadors to Yemen that have been here in Sweden to support these talks. Your input has been extremely valuable. But most of all, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to you, distinguished members of the Yemeni delegation. Thank you for coming here to discuss a better future for Yemen. And what you have achieved so far is an important step for the people of Yemen, and I thank you. The conflict in Yemen has been going on for 4 years now. 4 devastating years of suffering for the Yemeni people. As we all know, Yemen is the world's worst humanitarian crisis. More than 24 million people, 3/4 of the population, need some form of assistance or protection. Some 20 million people are food insecure, and 10 million of these people do not know how they will obtain their next meal. But you, the parties present here today, have the possibility to change this. You have the future of Yemen in your hands, and we have a precious opportunity. And I'm glad to see that you have made real progress here in Sweden. You have been working hard during this week. It has yielded several important results. That is an achievement. But there are also pending issues, and we will move on with those pending issues without interruption. We want to make sure that we make progress at any moment for the benefits of the Yemeni people. I spoke to President Hadi this morning, and he expressed his full support and appreciation of all the accomplishments you have made here, and I thank him for this. I'd also like to take the opportunity to thank the leadership of Ansar Allah and their allies for their constructive engagement with our proposals. You have reached an agreement on Hodeida Port and City, which will see a mutual redeployment of forces from the port and the city, and the establishment of a governorate-wide ceasefire. The UN will play a leading role in the ports, and this will facilitate humanitarian access and the flow of goods to the civilian population, and it will improve the living conditions for millions of Yemenis. We have also reached a mutual understanding to ease the situation in Taiz, and I believe this will lead to the opening of humanitarian corridors and the facilitation of demining. Before coming here, you had already agreed on a prisoners exchange. Now you have agreed on a timeline and details for implementing the exchange, allowing thousands, I repeat thousands, of Yemenis to be reunited with their families. And finally, a very important step for the peace process, you have agreed to engage in the discussions on a negotiating framework in the next meeting. This is a critical element for the future political settlement to end the conflict. Based on your constructive engagement here in Sweden, we have a better understanding of the positions of the parties. And you have agreed to meet again to continue to discuss this further at the end of January during the next round of negotiations. But between now and January, we will always be available to go on discussing and trying to reach progress in all the other dossiers that are still pending for discussion and agreement. What you have agreed here will mean a lot for the future of Yemen. It will mean a lot for the Yemeni people who will see concrete results in their daily lives. And allow me to make a personal statement and to pay a personal tribute to the people of Yemen. I was High Commissioner for Refugees during 10 years. And during those 10 years, I visited Yemen several times. Somali refugees were coming to Yemen, a country that is, of course, a poor country and with enormous problems. The borders of Yemen, the doors of the Yemeni people, the hearts of the Yemeni people were always open to Somali refugees. They were granted prima facie refugee status. And when we look at the world today and the difficulties refugees face in so many parts of the world, we need to pay tribute to the generosity, to the hospitality of the Yemeni people. The Yemeni people has demonstrated a solidarity with other peoples in need that deserves our tribute, and that deserves that we do everything possible as international community to support Yemenis in finding Yemeni solutions for their own problems. The agreements today mean a lot, not only for the Yemeni people, mean a lot for humanity. If this can be a starting point for peace and for ending humanitarian crisis in Yemen. Shukran. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Excellencies, dear friends. This is indeed a very special day for Yemen, for the United Nations, and for us here in Sweden. And you know that this is a day when we actually celebrate light. It is maybe difficult to see from the outside here, but we are. And I want to say, first of all, thank you all for traveling to this faraway, snowy place and for your earnest efforts these intense days. Thank you, Secretary General Antonio Guterres, for joining us. Thank you, Special Envoy Martin Griffiths. But first and foremost, thank you to the delegations here, the Government of Yemen delegation, led by Foreign Minister Khaled Ademani, and the Ansar Allah delegation, led by Mohammed Abdel Salam. Thank you so much for everything that you've done. The support from the international community and the many key states involved has also been crucial. Thank you also to Kuwait and Oman for making these consultations possible. If you remember, when I welcomed you here a week ago, I emphasized the need for concessions, compromises, and courage. During these past days, I think we have indeed been encouraged by your spirit of dialogue and constructive engagement, and there is no doubt that this week has required great patience and also created some trust. And a week ago, I also mentioned that the world is watching all eyes are on what has been going on and is going on here right now, and that the world would have expectations about concrete achievements. And I am, of course, extremely happy to see that we might have a Stockholm Declaration here today with the most important progress made on Hadida and the exchange of prisoners as examples of that. We also believe that more women means more peace. And I have met with the Women's Technical Advisory Group, and I was impressed by their knowledge and skills, and thank you to them for the important role that you have played. And I trust that more women also will participate in upcoming talks. And I'm also pleased that civil society and other actors have been so engaged during these days. So you will soon leave Rimbo, and I want you to know that you now have many friends who follow your progress with great interest and engagement. The Yemen crisis requires continuous attention from the international community, and Sweden will remain active in our support to the UN efforts for peace in Yemen. And next year, late February, we will co-host a UN conference on humanitarian assistance to Yemen. And this will be for the third time. If further progress has been made, and can I allow myself to be hopeful, that occasion could also be about assisting reconstruction of Yemen. To the delegations, never lose sight of why you're here and who you represent. It is the people of Yemen, the men and women, and not least the children, and they suffer the most from this conflict. The Yemeni people now want to see results. They want stability, prosperity, and peace in their country. And I encourage you to continue, as you've been doing here, to engage constructively and in good faith with the UN process to pave the way for